Hello everyone, how's it going? So Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones is the other live service along Suicide Squad that launched recently and has seen, well, a lot of negative reception. Now this game has been in development for nearly 10 years and it's seen a massive downgrade since its initial reception, which most games do. Like the initial trailer is never as grandiose as the game itself. But this was originally an expansion for Black Flag before it became its own experience. They made a deal with the Singapore government, so they had to release this game. They couldn't cancel it. And since its launch, it's been seeing just massive negative reception because there are simply other experiences that are vastly superior, such as Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which saw a massive resurgence since its release. Now, this isn't a huge resurgence. Like, it only went up to around 2,000 players, but compared to its around 700 players or 500 players, this is a massive restart. Similarly, that's what's happening with Suicide Squad in my last video, where I compared Suicide Squad's numbers, which were below 1,000, to the Batman Arkham franchise, Arkham Origins, Knight, Asylum, and City, which all had 1,000 players or more compared to Suicide Squad. And we're seeing this similar to other players who are simply fed up with the modern day AAA experience. I'm sorry, quadruple A experience, and simply going back to the heyday that these companies delivered very novel experiences that people wanted to play. And it's getting even worse seeing that Skull and Bones hasn't even reached about 1 million players in total, considering that this is a live service that's supposed to have content for months, years down the line. This was a great article from Insider Gaming where they discussed how reports have indicated that even the developers knew that it shouldn't have been $70. On top of it, even with the free trial, which Ubisoft offers 7 hours of free gameplay content, and then you can buy the full game and transfer over your progression, still they haven't reached 1 million players, which is pretty substantial. Offering a 7-hour free trial and giving you the chance to transfer your progression is a massive deal. And the fact they can't even get 1 million players with that type of promotion is incredibly scary with this project. Now, there are theories going around that Ubisoft is just trying to get as much as their money back as they can from this project. That's why it's an Epic Games exclusive, which is why we don't have numbers for Skull and Bones, because Epic Games doesn't have a public indicator of how many players are on their service. And it's also why they're charging $70 for this game, whereas developers have stated that this game should have been around $30 to $40 at best. Heck, it should have been a free-to-play game and probably would have seen 1 million players by now. But granted, it's going to be a long shot to get players to move from one live service to a next. Since the live service boom, I would argue that a lot of gamers have already invested their time into the live service game of their choice, whether it's Sea of Thieves, Fortnite, Warframe, Apex Legends, because the way that live services change is much more rapid than single player or multiplayer games in the traditional sense. Like, a traditional box purchase is not as it's not as malleable as a live service game, because they have to constantly deliver new content to keep their servers alive, because they make all their money back based on player retention and buying microtransactions, which makes it a lot more cutthroat. So there is that. But even though we don't have a number detail, we can get a general idea by going to Twitch and seeing that about only 2,000 people are even watching the game. In fact, the top streamer right now only has around 250 viewers, which is good for the streamer, but not good for the game itself. It's really, really scary for this game in that regard. And just to put this in perspective, you can get a lot of Assassin's Creed games, vastly superior Assassin's Creed games, that are better than Skull and Bones for a fraction of the price, because Skull and Bones is $70. Look at all the Assassin's Creed games you can get for that price. You can get Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, Odyssey, Origins, the 2D titles, Syndicate, which is to me very underappreciated. I think Syndicate is absolutely amazing. Unity, Freedom's Cry, Liberation. You see, look at all these incredible. The Assassin's Creed 2 trilogy, which is often considered the peak of Assassin's Creed. Heck, if you want just the pirate experience, just get Black Flag, which is literally just $12 right now. So yeah, just looking at all these games you can get for $70, kind of not that great of an experience. If you want a long run-in game, I would actually recommend Assassin's Creed Valhalla. There is a lot of game here. So if you want a game that will literally keep you busy for months, I would recommend this. It's actually, I liked it, but it's not really an Assassin's Creed game. It's more like a third-person action-adventure game, so with the Assassin's Creed logo on it. But, all to their own. I actually like this game a lot. But yeah, it just shows that a lot of people are going back to Ubisoft's great times instead of like whatever they're doing right now. And it just doesn't look great for Skull and Bones. I think this game is going to end up with a skeleton crew where they just say they update the game periodically. Now, this is not to say that the game doesn't have a chance to revive itself, but I would say that it probably will just become to the state where it plateaus. Because we've seen, I know some of the people are going to make like Star Wars Battlefront comparisons, No Man's Sky comparisons. Heck, Ubisoft saw a resurgence with Rainbow Six Siege, and Ubisoft actually has a lot of great coming out stories in terms of their games reviving themselves. Like, for example, the first Assassin's Creed game, even though a lot of people did like the game, it was plagued with a lot of repetitive content that a lot of people got bored by the end of the game, and Assassin's Creed 2 fixed all those issues. Same thing for Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs 1, repetitive mess, didn't really match the original trailer of the game, and then when Watch Dogs 2 came out, it was absolutely exceptional. Everyone loved Watch Dogs 2. I don't know what the fuck happened with Watch Dogs Legion, considering they had a great template with Watch Dogs 2, but Watch Dogs 2, absolute banger of a game. Rainbow Six Siege, again, came out. It was incredibly disappointing. Now it's one of their most popular games out there, one of the best competitive shooters that people play right now, at least from what I've heard. But yeah, I think that this game simply can't make that same level of resurgence unless they do a massive overhaul, because like I said, a lot of the stuff that's here, Black Flag has more and then some. It not only has the ship combat, but it also has like raiding ships, it has plundering treasures, it has melee combat, it has an epic story, like it has everything that Skull and Bones wishes it has. So I don't think it would be possible unless they rehaul the entire game entirely, and that's even saying much, because if they put melee combat, they have to balance that, they have to put new features into it, and judging by the fact that this game still hasn't hit 1 million players, I just don't think that Ubisoft is going to be willing to put in the money for that, especially considering during this year alone, there have been thousands of game jobs that have been removed from the industry. Mass layoffs have been happening. Xbox, PlayStation. Recently, Supermassive just put out 30% of their, just cut their staff by 30%. So I don't think that Ubisoft is going to put in the money for this. I think they're just going to put a skeleton crew and that's going to be it. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you think Skull and Bones is going to revive itself, or do you think it's just dead and what I said is right? I'd like to hear other people's opinions on this stuff. So that's it for me. Like, sub, dislike, if it's your choice. If you want to go the extra mile, super thanks, and join button to support me directly. But that's it for me. Bye.